This is Full Time Devils, and it is the Norwich preview on the back of a massive, huge away win. Manchester United are back, lads. On the preview with us today, we've got Adam, we've got Ste, we've got Noelle, we've got Jay, and we've got me, Gaz. Hello, guys. Welcome to the preview. Let's kick things off then. Epic win, massive, yesterday, huge. The performance wasn't really very good, was it? But how important is it for Ole to carry it on into this one, mate?
I don't know about carrying on. It's important to get an away win in the league, though, because we were just chatting. It's been not got an away win since February.
The last time
season,
we got an away win in the league, Ashley Young scored.
That says it all, really,
Says
doesn't
it all.
So yeah, I think you do want to build a bit of momentum, and you do want to sort of get more than just like one victory at a time. So yeah, if we can get a second successive away victory, yeah, it's not amazing to beat Norwich and Partizan Belgrade, but it's a step in the right direction. So yeah, you know, we'll be happy with that.
Norwich play well. Norwich play good football.
Did they
play
really?
good football against City as well. Like they weren't scared at all. So that might actually play into our favour. Do you reckon, Howson, in this?
5-0 by Villa since then, guys.
I know, but the way that they play brave against the bigger teams, it's quite admirable, I think. But like I say, that could play into our hands, couldn't it, Howson?
Not really.
Okay. I thought he'd disagree with me.
And that's kind of why they've been
like
dicked off Villa. They got dicked off Crystal Palace. They got dicked off Burnley. And they got dicked off West Ham. Yes, they managed to score a few against City.
Didn't we get dicked from Palace and West Ham as well?
Sometimes you kind of have that as well. Exactly. So how's this going to play into our fucking hands, Gary? It's a relegation battle, and it's going to be a tough scrap. Let's just be real about it.
We need to just get a room.
They're banging in the middle of relegation. The Pucky party's over. I don't think the guy scored since fucking about a month ago.
Fluky Pookie! He's going to score on Sunday.
Well out of everyone's dream team, I reckon, by now. They pack the midfield. They play a 4-2-3-1, but they play it proper fucking narrow. They use the fullbacks, but let's not pretend that these are the fucking reinvention of how to play football, for fuck's sake. They're bang average, and they're in the relegation for a reason, like us.
Oh, it's going to be funny watching them pass around our midfield, isn't it, on Sunday? Adam, how do you think that we need to set up to beat these guys?
I'm not sure. They're pretty like last game they played 4-1-4-1. It looks like, or a 4-2-3-1. Like I was still saying, they got a 0-0 draw against Bournemouth, but generally speaking, they're pretty dreadful. Conceded 5 against Villa, 2 against Palace, 2 against Norwich. Yes, they beat City in between that, but before that they lost against West Ham. Now I know we've lost to a few teams on that list, but the way people have been speaking about Norwich, you'd think they had won more games than they have. They've only won 2 games this season in the league. Sounds like someone I know, which is United. But they are conceding a lot as well. They are conceding a lot. And we played pretty badly against Belgrade, but it was with a chopped up B team. And I was hesitant to get carried away with that. When you're playing the likes of Brandon Williams and James Garner, Maguire's making his first European start. Martial Lingard just back from muscle injuries. Romero, etc. Like when you think about it, it was a B team that we played. So a 1-0 away win in Belgrade, I'm not going to complain about. But the way we did it wasn't great. If we play like that against Norwich, they probably will beat us. It's going to be a different kind of atmosphere for Norwich. We've always seen teams pick it up when we go there. We've been to relegated sides over the last few years and haven't fared too well. When you think of the likes of Huddersfield, Cardiff, we've gone there, haven't done well. Even in the cup competitions, Bristol City have done well against us, etc. So you think about us going to these smaller sides away from home. Yes, them getting excited and coming out at us might play into our hands. And I felt that's why the first half of the Belgrade game was so open, was because they came out at us. Them being at home with their fans and everything, it's got the makings of one of those typical United defeats on the road in the Premier League that has seen us go on this kind of long run. So yes, the result and the performance against Liverpool is a lot better. Yes, we got a result midweek against Belgrade. And yes, Norwich aren't playing well, but we can't take anything for granted, and we've got to go there and look to slap these lot up.
Noelle, how important is it getting this away win in terms of the fans and how they react to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? Do you think it'll bring a few of the Ole out crowd back on side if we can actually prove that we can win away from home?
Yeah, I think it really is important to get this win just because the fans are going nuts. And we really need this. It's Norwich. We have to beat them. We should beat them. And if we lose, I just see all hell breaking loose, especially on social media with all Ole outers. I don't agree with them at all. I think I don't agree with some of the things that's gone on and changes and stuff. But I think he's doing the right thing, and we're just not getting goals. That's the problem. If the players score the goals, I think we're all right, and the fans will be happy. That's what they want to see. They want to see the wins, but they want goals as well. We're literally scoring 1 goal a game, sometimes if we get lucky, and that's what they want to see, goals.
It seems that fans, make a lot of excuses, and a lot of them quite valid for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But you actually look at some of the teams we have been beaten by or failed to get a win against, and they're some of the worst teams in the league. They genuinely are. And now you're worried about going up against Norwich, thinking they could genuinely get a win. So surely Solskjaer himself has to take a bit of blame, because this team on paper should have been beating the likes of Huddersfield, West Ham, those sorts of teams.
Yeah, I mean, it is possible to still support Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and criticise him. People seem to think you're either Ole in or you're Ole out, but I think Ole should be given time, and I think he's, give him time. I think he can do a good job, but I still criticise him because you're right. Last season, I hate doing it, but we'll do it anyway. Against Huddersfield, wasn't great. One of the worst Premier League teams I've ever seen. We couldn't beat them. Then you look at this season: West Ham, Southampton, Wolves, Newcastle. These aren't teams that are going to be challenging for the top 4. These are teams that are most of them are in and around the bottom 5 or 6 teams, and yet not only are we not beating them, we're getting beat off them as well, and you can throw Crystal Palace into that as well. So it isn't good enough, and he does need to fix up. And like Noelle was saying, people do lose their shit on social media and get overexcited, but I can sort of understand it a little bit when you're watching some of the performances. You are going to be critical, because I think you can't just bury your head in the sand and say, oh, it's amazing, it's great, we're in a transitional period, it's acceptable to go to Newcastle and get dicked, because it isn't.
Howson, do you think Ole needs to be held to account a little bit more?
He's being held to account a little bit more. What are you on about?
I mean, by certain sections of the fan base.
All right, is anyone just blanket defending him? Because I know that we get accused of blanket defending him. I don't blanket defend him. There's loads of things that, the formation for starters, I haven't been happy with it all season. I don't think he gets the best out of United. The fact that we played 3-5-2 again last night smacks of a bit of desperation to me, that we're rotating through stuff to try and find something that works, rather than having the confidence that did we do our scouting and went, 3-5-2 is the perfect thing that's going to work for Liverpool. And 3-5-2 is the perfect thing that's going to work for Partizan with this B team as well. To me, it feels like we just fell into this formation. Ole is getting criticised for the things that are under his control. I think what people have to be mindful of is this is, I think all of us agree, the worst United team we've seen in 30 years. So why are you expecting more than the worst results you've seen in 30 years? This is what happens when you have the worst team in 30 years. Ole's quite rightly getting criticised for the things that are under his control. Sometimes not making subs quick enough, sometimes not fixing things quick enough, picking Ashley Young, the things that he can actually control, but the other things, they're out of his hands.
Noelle, if we don't beat Norwich, that's 3 out of the bottom 4 that we fail to get wins against this season. What needs to change to beat those lower teams? Because we all know we're better than them.
Honestly, on paper, Manchester United have the better team. They have better players, quality players who should be able to get one over on all these teams. We should be, but we're not, and that's the problem. I don't know what we can do to change that. We just need to be finishing, scoring goals, and that's our main downfall right now. I don't know what else to say.
Do you think something needs to change, like if we don't get the result against Norwich? I don't know, maybe certain players that have had a place in the team all season need to be hooked out of it. Maybe there need to be questions raised about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, serious questions. I don't know what you think, Noelle.
Yeah, I think it has been done a little bit already. Like the fact that Lingard hasn't really been picked as much as he was, because he hasn't been doing so well. But yeah, I do think a few more players should be dropped. And I think sometimes his team selection can be a bit confusing. I'd like to see a bit of stability in that. But yeah, I think it is slowly being done.
Adam, what do you think will need to change if we weren't to get the result against Norwich, because not many of us are too confident?
I'll say what I always say about, people seem to have this idea that we're just giving, obviously, because at the end of Jose's reign, I was like, okay, he needs to go now. And that we're just giving Ole all this time in the world and, he doesn't need to go. In fact, at this time of Jose's career, I would have said the same thing. He needs time. We need to allow him to have time. And that's the same with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I still don't know whether he's the man. In fact, I don't think he's the man. But any manager coming into this club at this point would need to be given time, especially when you consider what has happened around him. But like Steve says, that doesn't mean that he is free from criticism. That doesn't mean that he can't be criticised or we can't want him to change certain things. Just because he's a Manchester United legend, it doesn't mean that he's free from criticism in his in his role as a manager. And I do think he has got some things wrong along the way. But at the same time, I look at him sometimes and I think, is he playing with the tools that he wants to be playing with? Like when you look at our the players that are playing in those creative positions. I was about to say number 10, but you know, when we play 4-2-3-1, we kind of play a 10. But I'd like to think going towards a 4-3-3 we wouldn't. But look at our number 10s. When we play 4-2-3-1, Jesse Lingard, massively out of form. Not sure what's going on with him at the moment. We need him to get back into the goals and assists. Even though Jesse didn't actually contribute that many goals and assists anyway, his performances were usually very good, but his performances haven't been, and they need to get there. When you look at Mata, not getting any younger, Angel Gomez hasn't really played. We haven't really got anyone in that number 10 position. And you look at certain other areas of the pitch as well. Yesterday, we were playing with a midfield of, against Belgrade, we were playing with a midfield of Garner and McTominay. And like, I kind of don't know. People were getting mad online after and saying to me, because I tweeted something like there were more positives than negatives, which I genuinely believe when you see Brandon Williams playing and you see James Garner playing and you see all these things, there are more positives than negatives, but that doesn't mean that I was happy with the football. And I kind of just think sometimes we've beaten Belgrade away from home with a B team. Is that the time to be complaining? I don't think it is. If we go to Norwich and we don't perform and we don't play well with what I expect will be a stronger team, then questions have to be asked. And I think Ole has to look in terms of his tactics at how we break teams down. Now, it may be, again, he hasn't got the tools at his disposal, or he thinks that he needs an X, Y, Z in terms of players. But show me something different. I think he was excellent against Liverpool in terms of tactically. And in the big games, tactically, he tends to get it right. Let's not forget that. Look at some of these big games. He's got it right more often than not. Even the game against Arsenal that we lost, you'd think tactically we looked quite good. So in the big games, I feel tactically he's okay. In the smaller games, in the games when teams are willing to sit back and soak it up a little bit, or he needs to get creative because we're not creating enough chances. And we're talking about giving younger players chances. Okay, Angel Gomez, where is he? What's going on? It looks like he's probably not signing a deal, and that's probably why he's not involved at the minute. But again, there's someone there that can create things. And I just feel like, yes, we've got a lot of young players and you don't want to rush them. But at the same time, when the same thing's not working, you kind of have to go with something new and try something new in these games.
Okay, we are talking predicted 11s and the opposition going into Norwich in a bit more detail after this break. Right, we're back. Predicted 11s time. Who is going to play? Who knows? Am I still towards the top of the league? 8 points something, aren't I?
I don't know, we'll sort that out.
Yeah.
Can we change that?
Must be a glitch. Howson, let's start with you. Who's starting against Norwich?
I've gone with a team I'd like to see rather than what I think will play.
Right.
Because I'm not picking Ashley Young. I'm going to go with a 3-5-2 because I expect that's how we're going to rock it now until the wheels fall off that, and then we'll find something else.
He's so right as well. That's definitely what's happening.
Are you suggesting that we haven't thought this through properly and we're just fucking guessing our way in tactics?
Yep, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah, okay.
So De Gea in net, controversially, even though another clean sheet for Sergio Romero, just absolute clean sheet fiend. Lindelof, Maguire, and Axel. I actually think Lindelof's going to have a good game against these. The way they like to play it in the channels, I think it'll really suit the way he plays. Wan-Bissaka and Brandon Williams, because if someone's not earned a fucking start consecutively after getting man of the match, I don't know what you need to do. And he won't, but he should have. McTominay and Fred in midfield, and Pereira ahead of them because I don't think Mata or Lingard deserve a start after that performance midweek. James and Rashford up front. I thought that worked quite well against Liverpool. I also think this, with the way Norwich pushed their fullbacks up, could potentially work as well, getting in behind them. My worry, as it was against Liverpool, but to a different degree, is who's going to play the balls to get in behind them, because we just don't have anyone that's got the ability to pass it through the lines. Pereira in his head thinks he can do it, but he can't do it. So, there you go.
What do you guys think of Wan-Bissaka as a wing-back?
Yeah, I think he does a good job.
I kind of feel like he might get moved to the 3 in defence at some point.
When Ethan Laird breaks through.
Possibly. I feel like if we had another wing-back option, then that could possibly be what
Like
happens.
Kyle Walker.
And he'd actually do it. Well, I think he'd do a better job of it than Kyle Walker. I don't like Kyle Walker there.
Well, Kyle Walker played there for City, didn't he?
Yeah, I could see that happening, and I think he'd do pretty well there. Right, Adam, what's your team?
Let Noelle go first, please, because I haven't got one yet.
For a minute now, I thought you'd been like dead chivalrous and like, come on, let Noelle go first. Because I've not
I
got
was going
one.
to say that, but it was just clearly a lie, so I just...
I've never been chivalrous in my life. Go on then, Noelle. What's your team?
First ladies first, all that.
I'm going to go with David De Gea in goal. Young on the left, even though I'd rather Brandon Williams, but there you go. Maguire, Lindelof, and Wan-Bissaka. Then McTominay and Fred. Rashford, Pereira, James on the right, and then Martial up top. That's what I think. I'd like to see Greenwood, but I just have a feeling he's going to start Martial.
Martial back at it.
You gone 4-2-3-1? Is that?
Yeah.
See, I think we're going to go back to that as well.
That's what I was looking at it, and I thought, yeah, 4-2-3-1 sounds about right. Against Norwich, I think we're going to try and go for it a little bit.
Go on, Adam. Have you got your teams
I
together yet?
actually think we've been playing the 3 at the back because we've got no midfielders, and it's probably the best option for us in terms of going forward. But I think we might go back to a back 4 this weekend. I'm going to pick this team anyway and just hope for the best. Obviously, I think he's going to play Axel Twanzebe at left back. Right back, Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Maguire, Lindelof. McTominay, Fred. Rashford, Pereira, James, and Anthony Martial. He wasn't great against Belgrade. Good for him to get a goal. Obviously a penalty. Need to get him in the game a little bit more. It's hard to tell whether it's because we lack so much creativity or whether the strikers had a bad game these days. Because we do lack creativity and we don't bring them into the game enough. But having said that, he did have a pretty bad game with what he had to do. As did Lingard, and it's hard to see whether that's just form continuing or, rustiness because they've been out for a while. Hopefully the latter, but probably the first one.
Do you want to give us a team, Jay?
Yeah, go on then, why not? Sorry, I'm going to be different, but not as different from Adam, because Adam's gone for 4 at the back as well.
Right. Pick the same fucking team as
I think it is actually. After all that, David De Gea, Wan-Bissaka, Maguire, Lindelof, and everyone's favourite captain, Ashley Young.
Oh, no, you didn't pick the same team. I picked Twanzebe.
I know you all. Don't shake your head at me, Steve, because you know he's going to start. You know it and I know it. So,
like I say, the
shake your head.
last time we won away from home in the Premier League, Ashley Young was the answer. He was the key.
He also
to the
cost
lock.
us a goal, but then he made up for it by scoring, if memory serves. Listen,
Bobby Charlton used to be our leading goal scorer. Don't mean it's time for him to fucking lace up on Sunday, Gaz.
I'd put Bobby Charlton in that team on Sunday. I don't know what you're on about.
Listen.
Go on, Joe.
It's like people that start talking about Wayne Rooney and they're like, should we get Wayne Rooney back? Fucking course not, you idiot. I know you remember watching. Like, I love Wayne Rooney. Like,
Hey, we spent 5 years slagging him off.
don't you remember the end? Like people, like I believe when Ashley Young retires, it's good that we'll only remember the good times. That's how like our memory works. But like we're gonna be like, wish Ashley Young was still here. He's a
Nah, there is as well. There's going to be people in 2 years' time saying, I wish we had Ashley Young back. Bring him back from fucking Burton.
I think Steve's counter campaign will sort that one out. Right, I'm going to go McTominay and Fred. I don't know what I've got here. 4-2-1-3 formation. McTominay, Fred, Pereira, James, Marcus, and Mason up front.
All right, that's not going to fucking happen. But
Well,
I just think Martial. I think he won't. I don't think he'll start him again because he needs bringing in a little bit gradually. So I think he might give him 45 minutes.
he's going to play the best finisher he's ever seen, don't you know?
3 goals in 4 starts for Martial in the number 9, by the way.
How long's Pogba out for?
Don't know, does he? He said he didn't know last
He's out
time.
of this Norwich game. He's out of this Norwich game, Ali said this
Couldn't
week.
give a time though, could he? It was weird because he couldn't give like an estimated time when he thinks
No,
he's
Not
it's
made
back.
his mind up yet.
And everyone's jumps on that as rumours of
joking.
a rift and all this
joking.
stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Before the Pogba lovers get in the comments slagging me
What are you
off,
slagging
I'm
him off for?
joking.
What are you questioning
I
his
said he's not
attitude for?
decided when he wants to come back yet. Right, opposition. Norwich. What do we know about them? How can we beat him? Adam, tell me.
Huh?
Norwich.
Adam's done his research on this one.
They've got a lot of injuries, but man like Todd Cantwell's all right. I like him. He's a good player. Pookie's obviously a threat. Scores against me every time on FIFA 20, the wanker. Like
Everyone scores against me on FIFA 20. Can't defend.
I've never played it.
because Pookie's got that stupid card where he's got loads of unrealistic pace and all that. But yeah, they're all right, man. You know what I hate about this game? Yeah, none of their players are actually that great. Are actually Premier League players, especially when you consider their injuries. But they're gonna rock up on Sunday. Yeah, their manager is gonna have a game plan. They're gonna apply that game plan, and they're gonna get a result against us. I can already see it coming.
This is the thing, they've been poor at times this season, and I admit I am one of those people who got really overexcited when they beat City, thinking, wow, these are going to play like this every week. They've really not. But, like you say, they can clearly put a game plan together in the big games, and I think they'll do that again against us. Howson, how are we going to beat him?
Well, we're not unless it's 1-0, are we? Because clearly scoring more than one fucking goal is not in our repertoire.
All right,
We haven't
all right,
actually
then.
spoken about that enough, have we, Steve?
All right,
Or
then,
anyone?
how are we going to keep them out?
You don't really have to try that hard to keep them out, to be honest. They're not fucking that good. And I know I'm setting myself up to get clipped up here, but it's happened before, and I don't really give a fuck. So they're not that good. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they scored against us, but I'd be more... do you know what? If you're a betting man, bang everything you've got on fucking 0-0 for this.
Oh, I love how exciting these previews get me.
Clean sheet in the bag.
Do you know what's worse? Them 3 clean sheets in the Europa League, we've been fucking awful in every one of those games.
If you clean sheet every game, you don't get relegated, do you?
Oh,
and that's the important thing here.
It's an awful way of thinking about it. Noelle, tell us, what do you know about Norwich? Pookie is the main man. He obviously did it against City. Is he going to do it against us?
Yeah, do you know, I put Pookie in my fantasy team and I thought, oh, he's good, he was doing well, and then he just dropped off when he was playing against City. I was watching the game and thought it was brilliant. And I think he hasn't scored in quite a while, so he'll probably back one against us. It's just typical, isn't it?
Yeah. I was gonna say as well, make sure you've got Pookie back in your fantasy team for this weekend, Noelle.
He is. Don't worry about it. He is.
Triple captain.
But, no, Tim Krul, when they were playing City as well, I just remember he pulled off so many saves, and I don't know what it was. Like, you know, Tim Krul, he's been around for a long time, and I just couldn't believe what I was seeing. So I just hope he doesn't have a performance like he had against City against us, because we really need to get a few goals in.
Jay, Norwich.
Was it Tim Krul that Van Gaal brought on for penalties?
Yep. Yes.
We should have known then.
Thought we had a
Van Gaal
fucking
was
genius on our hands.
Mental.
We did have. He is a genius, isn't he?
Yeah, everyone thought, oh, he's a genius. Then after he's our manager for a while, we realised he was just off his head.
No, he's a genius. He's just a cycle when he's just like, his time's passed.
And it's still legal to marry your sister in Norwich?
It's compulsory. I'm with Steve. You know, I think Norwich are a busted flush, as he say. I think everyone got excited when they had that result against City with all the injuries they had, and then they won. And it was like, oh, they're amazing. Pookie's gone off the boil, as Noelle was saying. The team's pretty shit, but they'll probably still get a result against us. I think they got a 0-0 didn't they last time out, which was like they stopped a rot of three successive losses or something. Yeah, they've been like they're not great. 9. I think it smells like it's going to be an absolute terrible game. The sort of game you get last on Match of the Day.
Lovely. Score?
I'm going to go 0-0. Sorry.
I know.
Acting like
no, I'm not.
We don't score goals, neither do they.
I'm not having a go.
What
at
else? You know, we might get a penalty. Maybe VAR will get us a goal, but I doubt it.
That's more like it. VAR to get us a scrappy shit house 1-0. Howson, what are you saying?
Maybe they're not original.
Yeah, I feel like 0-0 or 1-0. But it'll probably be a penalty. Fucking penalties have been racking up with us since VAR. Love it. Love VAR, me.
Adam, score.
Manchester United are going to win.
Go on. What number?
3-1.
No.
A 4-goal thriller at Carrow Road.
Never happening. Never
happening.
Go on, Noelle. Noelle, what score is it going to finish?
I was going to go and say 3-1, just because I've been talking about them not scoring goals, and I wanted them to prove me wrong. But
Norwich.
I'm taking it. So I'm going to go with 2-1, because I do think Norwich will sneak one in past them.
2-1, and I'm going to go... I want to go for something really unrealistic and say
Not like-
3-all. Something that's like, so the Norwich fans can count it on one hand, but I don't think that one's going to happen. So probably 2-0, I'm going to say, to United, which would be a mint result. A mint result if we can get 2 goals and a clean
Listen,
sheet.
if you're fucking getting ready to type, oh, I'm from Norwich, I don't have 6 fingers, shut the fuck up before you even start. How about that?
Thanks for diffusing that situation, Steve.
Yeah,
Nicely
yeah,
done, mate.
thanks.
Hey, that's quelled that one before it gets going. Good lad.
Right, this has been Full Time Devils.
I don't have 6 fingers, I have 6 toes.
Shout outs to Norfolk. My name's Gaz, that's Jay. McKola's
Fucking high
here.
6 in a bit.
Noelle's here. Howson's here. And we'll see you next time. Come on, the boys. See you in a bit.